Naya, Amir, Caleb, Nabia,
Yes.
Nyla, Nabia,
Naya.
Naya without an L, Naya, Nabia.
Just lucky
Naya.
Tobias and Tabia aren't on here.
Naya, Nabia. Naya.
Let's just call it Nick.
Naya, Nabia.
Wait.
Nabia, Adams, Amir, Caleb, Nabia, Naya.
Yashin.
It's a tongue twister.
Amir, Naya, Adams, Caleb, Nabia. We're getting there. We got 2 minutes.
I got paid $2 for dress down day tomorrow.
Got paid $2.
You got to pay to dress down?
Yes.
It's like a fundraiser.
Oh, do you know my name?
They is crazy.
No.
I just thought that. You don't know my name, do you?
No.
I forgot.
Ah,
forgot.
That's too funny. Greg. My name is Greg.
Oh yeah.
Greg.
Right there.
Greg.
If you-
Yeah, oh, it says it there, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
forget.
that's my coach name.
Age out.
It's your coach name?
Yeah,
Greg.
Amir.
Were you football or wrestling?
Caleb,
football.
Naya.
Football coach.
Greg Heislaw.
Hyslaw?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not seeing me on
We
the
are
on
live.
Facebook
Back at it
yet.
again with the white vans.
Dang,
I
damn.
switched.
No.
Amir, you got a good radio voice.
Because I wanted.
Yeah.
No.
It says yeah.
Oh, wait.
That's
There we are. We are live on
We
Facebook.
are
Stop.
live.
No. No.
I gave you the picture.
We're live.
No. I want this though. No, it's not.
And we'll play the music in 1 minute, right?
Whenever you're ready, tell me. The mic's off and we'll start.
You ready, Nabia?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're ready. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's 8 o'clock on Thursday night, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for the 39th installment of the Age Out Angels Radio Hour. My name is Greg Rapport. I'm the founder and executive director of Age Out Angels. We are a 501c3 nonprofit corporation that provides one-to-one mentors to youth ages 14 to 24 who are in need. This radio program is brought to you every week at the same time, courtesy of Doc G and the fine people here at Hamilton Radio who allow us to use this airtime. Doc G is on the big board tonight. It's good to see you, sir. Robin is not with us. She's living it up in Cancun. I hope she's listening, but I'll bet she isn't. I'd like to tell you about some of the other great programs here on Hamilton Radio. You know, people I meet on the street still refer to the Age Out Angels Radio Hour as a kind of a one-off podcast without realizing that this radio station has been around for 20 years, actually almost 21 years. In 21 years, and because the internet, and the reason that they do it is because the internet is how more and more people receive their media these days. And the numbers are actually growing. So just like traditional radio, though, there's a regular lineup of shows here every single day and evening of the week, and their following is increasing all the time. The only thing that's different between this and the regular radio station that you grew up with is the delivery system. There are 3 separate channels on continuously to satisfy anyone's taste. They play a lot of music that you can't hear in other places. And tonight I just wanted to call your attention to a couple of friends of mine, some very funny comedians by the name of Doug Max and Tom Mangelli, who have a fabulously funny program that airs on the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of every month at 9:30. So go to hamiltonradio.net. Don't do it right now. Go after the show's over. And sign in and be a part of the family that is growing in numbers every day. And when you do that, you'll just get little hits into your text that will tell you when a show that you like is on the air. My guests tonight are really quite amazing. If you're looking at the Facebook feed, you can see that it's pretty crowded here in the studio. My guests are all young adults, teens, and I'm so thrilled to have them here because the fact of the matter is we don't get enough opportunity to listen to young adults speak, and when we do, we somehow end up doing most of the talking. So I'm eager to get a window into how our youth think, and stay tuned, find out if you like what they have to say. Let me remind you that we're on here every Thursday from 8 to 9 p.m. with the Age Out Angels Radio Hour. And we have some intelligent, caring people coming up as guests on the show. Next week on May 31st, we'll welcome Joshua Meekins from Give Back. On June 7th, my guest will be Shalita O'Neill, President and CEO of the Fostering Change Network Foundation. On June 14th, it's Alice Barfield, Vice President from the Princeton Regional Chamber of Commerce. On June 21st, Fran Gervasi from Foster and Adoptive Family Services. We'll be here to talk about how we train and provide assistance training for foster parents. And on June 28th, Lorene Wilkerson from the Child Placement Advisory Council will be here. So be sure to tune in every week at 8 p.m. for what we consider to be our unfiltered look, an unbiased look at the child welfare system. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what makes this program unique. If you care about our nation's youth, if you care about the child welfare system, this is where you come to hear the truth. We're not afraid to confront the problems, and we talk about the solutions in the hope that together we can all arrive at best practices, and best practices that can be applied wherever you live. If you have specific questions, you can call in tonight, or you can write them to me either in the comments field on my Facebook page, or you can write directly to me at greg@ageoutangels.org. I answer every single question personally. As you can tell, the youth are of paramount importance to me, but if you care enough to correspond with me directly, then you're important to me as well, and I'll take the time to write back to you. So call in tonight if you're in the mood. The number is 609-807-2492. If you're watching the video feed, that number is scrolled across the bottom of the screen. Again, it's 609-807-2492. And now, please take a moment to hit that share button on Facebook. The issues that we talk about here are issues that deserve attention, and you can't get this information anywhere else, so please give everyone you know a chance to hear this program, and look us up online at www.ageoutangels.org. Hey, May is National Foster Care Month, and it's been a long month. I've been talking about this now. This is the third week, I think, and there's one more to go. We have several stories from the Chronicle of Social Change this week, and one of them is called "We Have to Stop Losing Half of Foster Parents in the First Year," and this is written by Irene Clements. She's the executive director of the National Foster Parent Association. Irene and her husband Billy had 127 foster children in their home as foster parents for almost 30 years, not all at once, of course. They adopted 4 of those children, 3 of them from foster care, and today they have 18 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren. And that's not to mention the many others who stayed with them or who still keep in touch. Now, they never intended to become lifelong foster parents, and they recognize that although foster care is an important safety net for children, foster care is really not a great place for a child to spend one's childhood. Foster care is intended to be a short-term solution, and that's a short-term solution while child welfare agencies work to reunify a child with their birth parents. But while they are in foster care, children need someone to love them unconditionally and help them to grow and flourish. And foster parents are the group that tries to fill that role. And I have to tell you, I know some foster parents who are absolutely amazing. Fortunately, those aren't the children who need the most help. The ones that we help with Age Out Angels are the ones who somehow fall through the cracks in the system and need our support. With the right supports from child welfare agencies, foster families can help children who were abused, neglected, or otherwise traumatized begin to heal. In fact, foster parents are the primary tool we have to help our nation's children while they are in foster care. Now, unfortunately, we lose too many of our quality foster families. Nearly half of foster parents quit in their first year of fostering. And the reasons they cite for this is due to lack of support, poor communication with caseworkers, insufficient training to address child's needs, and lack of a say in the child's well-being. Foster parents, for the most part, do their best for children when they're valued as important partners. And that's why the National Foster Parent Association has recently joined with an organization called CHAMPS. And CHAMPS is a national campaign working to improve foster parenting policies throughout the United States. CHAMPS, which stands for Children Need Amazing Parents, is working with child welfare agencies, advocates, foster parents, and youth formerly in foster care to promote the highest quality parenting policies. Fostering children changes lives one child at a time. It can also bring positive change to birth families. There's a continuous need for families to step up and become foster families. But there's an equally urgent need for policymakers and agency leaders to improve policies and practices so that all foster parents have the support they need to provide the stable, loving care that children deserve. Recently, the U.S. Senate passed a resolution that for the first time ever designates May 31st, and we have a show that night, as National Foster Parent Day to honor the many critical contributions of foster parents as part of our safety net for vulnerable children. So we'll be talking about that next week when it's National Foster Parents Day on the last day of National Foster Month. From ABC Channel 10 in Sacramento, California comes a story called From Prison to Social Work. A Sacramento State graduate turns her life around. This is written by Giacomo Luca. It's about a 46-year-old former convicted criminal setting her goal toward social work after completing her undergraduate studies at Cal State University, Sacramento. Story's about a lady named Kendra Jackson of Sacramento's Meadowview neighborhood. She said she grew up as a poor black girl in foster care. And after aging out of the foster care system, she said she was hanging around in the wrong circles for years. Her life changed in 2009 when she was convicted of conspiracy to possess and distribute drugs. And during her 1 year in federal prison, she managed to overcome her alcohol abuse problems, and through social workers, she learned she needed to turn her life around. Here it is 8 years later. She's graduating with a degree in social work with a minor in sociology. She has plans to go on to get her doctorate, and Ms. Jackson, we all wish you well. From WWL.com in New Orleans, Louisiana, the headline reads, Bill to extend foster care to age 21 passes House committee. This is a bill to allow foster kids to stay in the system until they turn 21. This is great news, but it's so hard to believe that Louisiana is so far behind the trend on this. And it has a holdback too. It allows foster kids to stay in the system until they turn 21 or graduate high school, whichever happens first. But it cleared a House committee, and it's looking good for passage. And so it's a step in the right direction. Currently, foster kids are forced out of the foster care program when they turn 18, regardless of their high school degree progress. Louisiana Budget Project Coordinator Dylan Wagsback says hundreds of kids are affected every year. And he sort of did the math. He said it's about 150 to 200 youth a year. So over the past 6 state fiscal years, that's exactly 1,104 teenagers who have aged out of foster care, said Wagsback. A foster care teenager by the name of Ella recounted the story of how our earlier family difficulties put her behind in school, and how current law gives her a chance of obtaining her diploma. Or the current law actually doesn't give her a chance of obtaining her diploma. She writes, I'm behind in school, and even with extra classes, I will not be done by 18 years old. I want the opportunity to graduate high school. I want the support and guidance of my foster family, my workers, and my counselors just a little bit longer, said Ella. And Bossier City Senator Ryan Gaddy says kids who age out before graduating are at high risk of falling into homelessness or crime. And this is his quote, and this is so true, it's just scary. When these children age out, if they don't have the high school diploma, there are people waiting for them in the business of human trafficking. That's where the jobs are. They end up under bridges, and their teachers are going and finding them, which is kind of an amazing statement about the lengths a teacher is willing to go through to try to save a child. So we'll keep you apprised about the situation in Louisiana. And from the Chronicle of Social Change comes a story called Celeb Doc's War with L.A. Courts to Get Her Kids Back. In March, Los Angeles County paid a $150,000 settlement to a celebrity Beverly Hills doctor after social workers lied under oath and falsified evidence to take her 4 kids away from her amid a thorny custody battle. But despite the payout and the help of top-notch private lawyers, Susan Spell, does anyone know her name? Susan Spell, whose TV credits include Oprah, CNN, Good Morning America, and Dr. 90210, still doesn't have her kids back, and fears for their safety as they continue to live with their father, who has a documented history of domestic abuse. This is a 6-year battle that has consumed not just Spell's life, but her savings too. In addition to the lawyers, Spell said she's paid thousands of dollars to professional monitors just to have the opportunity to see her kids. In more recent proceedings, she has had to represent herself, no longer able to afford private lawyers, but still too affluent to qualify for free representation. While most parents facing removal of their children have no choice but to use whatever free services are available to them, Spell's case illustrates how taxing this process can be, even with the best resources at hand. If a Harvard-trained, high-powered doctor with private legal help still hasn't been able to get her kids back from their abusive father, what chance does a poor mom without those resources have under similar circumstances? It sort of paints a sad picture about how difficult the system can be, even for people who have resources. Let's take a short break. And while we're doing that, I want you to hit that share button on Facebook, and we'll be back in 1 minute, and I will introduce you to the people sitting around this table. Don't go away. Hit the share button. See you soon. And we are back. So interesting show we have for you tonight. Joining me on the show are members of the Trenton chapter of the Next Generation Community Leaders, which is a Robert Wood Johnson program, and I'll let their coach describe that to you in just a moment. First thing I'd like to do is go around the room and have everyone say their name and their age, if you please, beginning at that end.
Hi, my name is Nabia Evans, and I am 17.
Hi, my name is Caleb Spalding, and I'm 17.
My name is Amir Black, and I'm 17.
My name is Naya Wilburn, and I'm 17.
And finally, next to Naya is their coach, and his name is Adam Sibley from the College of New Jersey. Welcome, everyone, to the Age Out Angels Radio Hour. I'm so glad that you could come on. Adams, I want to set a little context here, so why don't we start with you and explain to our listeners what this group represents.
Sure. Well, first, thanks for having us on, Greg. We're here on behalf of Mill Hill Child and Family Developments, which is a nonprofit in Trenton. And as you mentioned, we represent the Trenton chapter of the Next Generation Community Leaders, which is a statewide program sponsored by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. So we're actually one of about 11 teams across the state in cities like Trenton, Patterson, Newark, that's been charged by the foundation to create the next generation of community leaders.
So what we're looking at here is an assembly of teenagers who is expected to carry on a civic responsibility moving forward after this program is over. I don't mean this radio program, but the program that they're in. And you said something very interesting in the pre-interview, which had to do with, sort of your expectation that at this age they would be learning, and then where would they be like 10 years from now?
Right, we were joking a little bit because I'm about 10 to 12 years older than our cohort right now. So generally, we might not be a different generation, but there's a little bit of a gap there. And the point I was making is that when they're my age, they're going to be the leaders of their community, and they might not know that now, but we're in the middle of a municipal election cycle where people my age are running for city council, people my age are running for the mayor, right? So these are the next generation. This is the next generation of community leaders, right? And so our goal is to impart in them the civic and leadership skills they need to be the next leaders of Trenton.
And for them, this is a one-year program, right?
Right. So we recruited the team in August, and we've been meeting about 2 to 3 times a month since then. And we've been building towards a final project of their design, which we'll carry out this summer across the month of July.
And then once they finish this project, which has to do with what? What's the theme of the project?
So the theme of the project, which again they picked, is mental health and suicide prevention. So we were able to, over the course of several months, bring in community partners and experts in many fields of health, including childhood obesity and community violence. And after we had given them the knowledge, we gave them the opportunity to pick the issue that spoke to them the most.
Yeah.
And the issue they picked was mental health and suicide prevention.
That's fantastic. You guys went straight into heavy, on your first go round. And once that is over, then you'll bring in a next group. So next year we'll see a new group of folks here, right?
That's right. It's a 12-month program. We'll graduate these 15 students. Some of them will go to college. Some of them will go to the next year in high school. We'll welcome them back as alumni to the program, but we'll bring in another chapter come August.
That's wonderful, wonderful. And so this is 4 people here out of 15.
Out of 15.
The total group is 15. So I'm just so thrilled to have a chance to talk to somebody who's not my age. And that includes you as well, Adams. You're sort of in the position as their coach, but you're really sort of like their older brother, like maybe from a previous marriage or something. So I don't get that much opportunity to talk to 17-year-olds, and I want to pick your brain. I want to know sort of what makes you tick, what you're about, what you're interested in. So I know that you're sort of dedicated, conscientious people. But what I want to know is, like, what do you do in your spare time? What do you do for fun? And let's start down there with Nabia.
Well, on my spare time, I like to hang out with friends. I just feel like I really enjoy being with company. I like to treat myself by getting my nails done and stuff, just doing my own little thing. And I also play sports. I play soccer and I also run track.
Okay, all right. So you're staying active with sports.
Mm-hmm.
A little pamper yourself with nails and stuff like that. And but it sounds like the thing that you value above it all is the social interaction, being around people. That's really nice. So I'm assuming each one of you is an individual. So let's move on to Caleb. Caleb, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Well, in my spare time, I like to do sports. And if I'm not doing sports, I'm usually home relaxing.
When you say do sports, are you sort of in serious sports program, like in collegiate sports programs?
Mm-mm.
Or in the high school program?
High school.
Uh-huh.
Trenton football and Trenton wrestling.
You do football and wrestling?
And track.
And track. So you don't have any spare time?
No.
After that? Seriously, you must be exhausted 3 seasons a year when you come home. They run you ragged, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, pretty much. I know coaches. Okay. And so let's talk to Amir for a second now. Amir, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I like to use YouTube videos. So, and
you create YouTube videos, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
I like making content. I'm in the international club, the president of the international club at Trenton High.
Okay.
So I do that, and I go outside and have fun. Basically.
What about the international club attracted you? What was the
learning about different countries and studying their foods and stuff like that.
So you will get into this in a few minutes, but you approach a lot of life from the point of view of food preparation. That's sort of going to be the direction that you head. So what culture's food have you learned about in International Club?
Brazil. What's that called? Africa. We did 3 parts of Africa.
Wow.
Italy. There's another one. Forget right now.
I'm putting you on the spot, right? Yeah. Let's move on to Naya. What do you like to do in your spare time, Naya?
I like going to my family shop. I love messing with my brothers and my sisters. I like making things.
Your family shop?
Mhm.
What kind of shop does your family have?
We sell all natural hair and body essentials.
Oh, so and those are things that you make. The family
Mhm.
makes those.
We make everything.
Ah, very interesting. So that you're in the family business, then. So what seems to be wrong here? I didn't hear one person say video games.
I don't play video games like that.
Oh my!
I play video games sometimes, but I gotta be really bored.
But yeah, clearly it's not a major
Nah,
a major issue in any of your lives.
Not at all.
How about you, Adams? Do you?
No, I don't have. I don't have time for it. Maybe when I was their age, but not so much anymore.
Well, when I was growing up, it was pinball machines. That was pretty much the whole game. So, so do you do extracurricular activities like civic things in addition to this group that you're in? Let's start over here with Naya.
We do a lot of feeding the less fortunate in my family. We got like a stockpile in our basement, and we take like anything we want, and we just plan a day we're gonna feed the homeless.
But so how do you do that? How do you distribute food to the homeless when you do that?
My mom partners up with the Better Way, and we just like get food from like pantries, and then we just go downtown where we know that's where most of the homeless people are because they're shelters. So we just go down there and we pass out food.
Wow. So this is not like an organization or anything like that. You just do it. It's just something that you and your family do. That's fantastic. How about the rest of you? Is there anything else that you guys do in the civic world?
Like in school,
Student
like
council.
outside school.
Student council? Yeah, student council counts. I'm sorry, Nabi.
Like in school, stuff. I'm running for student government. I'm running for a representative at my school. The voting starts Tuesday to Friday, so something different.
So vote for Nabia.
Yeah, vote Nabia.
I hope you shared this on Facebook, Nabia. You could pick up a few votes. Caleb, you can't be doing extra stuff. I mean, not with
Sports.
playing for the sports.
Preparing for the
Goodness
upcoming
gracious.
season.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So who's got a driver's license here? Anybody?
Adam.
Adam's got a driver's license.
Oh yeah.
If it's not for Adam, nobody's getting home tonight.
Nope.
Adam or Uber, right? One of those two things. But do you think getting a driver's license is important?
I believe
Yes.
That's
so.
the
For
question.
this
Yes.
generation, yes.
Everyone believes that it's important.
Yes.
Why? Why do you think it's important, Amir?
Because this generation, they get a lot of jobs far away, or they just like to travel a lot and go to like the amusement parks and stuff.
So it's freedom.
Yes.
Car equals sign freedom,
Mhm.
right? That's pretty much what it comes down to. Tell me something. Which do you use more, your computer or your smartphone? Caleb?
Smartphone.
Smartphone? Nabia?
Smartphone.
Everybody?
Smartphone.
Phone.
Smartphone? That's a generational thing. Phone, Naya?
Mhm.
You too, Adams?
Oh, I'm on the computer all day at work, but when I get home, I put it away.
And so when it's on your own time, it's
Yeah.
smartphone, but your job has a computer requirement. That's interesting. I think it's a generational thing. If I had a chance to look at my computer or my phone, for basic stuff, social media, email, stuff like that, I would go to the computer every time. Go ahead, Nabi.
I feel like with me, like whatever I can do on my computer, I could do on my phone. Like during school, like we use Google Docs a lot and like Google Slides, so I could just do that on my phone too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yes, Amir.
With the technology we have today, like I used to edit videos on my MacBook, but now I can do that on my phone, so it's easier and on the go.
Yeah. How about that? I think you know what? I think I need you guys to show me how to use my phone, and then maybe things would go a lot smoother. for me. So what kind of grades do you get in school, Navia?
A's and B's.
Yeah, you're
I
a good
can't bring
student?
home C's.
You can't bring home
I
C's.
can't do that.
Ah.
I can't do that. I mean, like, it happens, but, like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. But, yeah.
No, but what you're describing is what it means to have people at home, you know, who are willing to show you the tough love. You know, that's what that is. When I was going to school, if we brought home a 98, the question was, what happened to the other 2 points? That was the question, not, oh, good job, I know you did your best. What happened to the other 2 points?
Oh, wow.
What kind of grades do you get, Caleb?
A's, B's, and C's.
Yeah. That's good to hear. You too, Amir?
A's, B's, and C's.
Uh-huh. How about Naya?
A's and B's. I might get like 1 C in like math.
Uh-huh. What would you say? What would you say to a 17-year-old who, and I know you've seen this in your schools. I know you've seen it among your friends or people that you know who are doing really well in school, right? Then all of a sudden they get cool and they start falling in with kids who are cool and then cutting class and you see their grades plummet, right? Now clearly none of you have fallen into that trap. But what would you say to someone who has? Anybody got an answer for that? Go ahead, Amir.
I know someone like that, but I don't know.
Don't say names.
I know.
Yeah. So what do you say?
I would say they're hanging out with the wrong people.
Yeah, well, that's the observation. Yeah, but if you were me, because you can't say anything to them, that's because it's like none of your business. But sometimes it's my business, like when their parents come to me and ask for help and stuff. What do you say to somebody who is just taking that dive, you know, and then all of a sudden, like they went from being A's and B's and the occasional C to maybe not graduating, right?
I would say really think hard before you do something, because like you don't know what could affect you now, what could affect you in the future, like with grades and like with the action like they perform and stuff.
Yeah, so maybe that's it. Maybe it's the reason you fall into that is, you're living for the moment, which is good, but not thinking at all, about the future. Could sort of. Yeah, so academically, what kind of interests do you have? Let's start on this side with Naya.
Like things I want to do, or like.
What subjects you like in school?
Oh,
what things you would pursue?
I love English.
Do you write?
No, I don't write, but I like talking. I like having like politics in our classroom. We do a lot of debating and things like that, and just like not have to hear about history, math, pre-calculus, and all that. It's just like English. I love it. I love English.
Okay, Amir.
Math.
Math, yeah. He's not just going to be a chef. He's gonna own the business. How about Caleb?
I'm like a history, English person. English history.
And Navia?
I like English, and I took a kinesiology class. That was like one of the best classes I ever took. So. Yeah.
And so you took a class and it inspired you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I want to take a short break here, Doc G. If you can cue up the music, and we'll be back with these interesting young people in about 60 seconds. Hit that share button on Facebook, please. Make sure that you get word out. Back in a minute. And we are back. Is there anyone here who goes to private school? Nabia goes to private school.
I go
and
to a charter school.
You go to a charter school.
Mhm.
What's the name of the charter school?
STEM Civics Charter.
STEM Civic Charters. Okay, so it's a STEM program.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And you're at Trenton High,
I'm trying hard
and
to.
you're Trenton High as well, and you are at Notre Dame, which is a private parochial school. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So what's the difference between charter school and Notre Dame and Trenton High? Is there a difference?
Notre Dame, you pay.
Well, yeah.
Trenton High, Trenton High, they have their own like VOTEC and things like that. My school is supposed to be, well, it is science, technology, engineering, math. So we're in aerospace. We have different credits. Our whole system is different.
What are they preparing you for a career in?
Science, technology, engineering, math.
In math, yeah.
Hmm.
Is there anything about that has gripped you at this point and says that it's an area that I want to pursue? And it doesn't have to be.
No, I
You
just
know.
like the JA day, like when we go out to kids and teach them, like we're a teacher for the day. I love things like that.
Uh-huh. I wonder if you'll end up working with children. What do you think about Notre Dame compared to STEM and Trenton High?
I feel like it's a more variety of students. I really don't know. Of course, we have to pay to go to school. It's like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of tuition.
There must be some scholarship kids
oh,
there
yeah,
too, though.
yeah.
I mean, it's not
Mhm.
all that way. Now, Trenton High has a pretty rough reputation, gentlemen. Do you experience that, or how do you feel about the education? And the reason I'm saying it this way is because I was recently looking at buying a house, and when you do that, they grade the schools in the areas of the houses that you're going to buy. Okay? And Trenton High gets a very low grade. It grades like a 1 or a 2 out of 10. Can you get a good education there?
I mean, you can. Like the
Yes.
teachers-
Yeah.
Y'all
I
probably just-
believe Trent High has a lot of opportunities, but people just don't take them.
Great answer. Same thing. I went to Atlantic City High School, which is also known as a pretty rough school back in the day. But there were programs there, if you were smart enough to take advantage of them. And we had plenty of kids who went on to Ivy League schools, in college and stuff like that. But what you said, people just don't always take advantage of them. How would you describe your relationship with your teachers, Amir?
I would say some of them, I have a good bond with them.
Uh-huh. Do you trust them? Trust them as people?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You have it, and is it automatic?
Some of them.
Some of them. How about you, Kayla?
same. So.
Yeah. Uh-huh. What's your relationship with your
I
teachers?
think I have a strong bond. I feel like I have a strong bond with my teachers. Yeah, I do.
What would you think? Tell me what your relationship with your teachers is.
It's good. Like, it's not a lot of kids at our school because it's pretty new. So everything's like, everybody knows your name.
Uh-huh.
Everyone's good.
Yeah. So what do you think about teachers who would be eager to carry a gun? Do you have a feeling about that one way or the other? What do you think about that as an idea? Teachers with guns.
I don't like that.
No,
Not at all.
that's bad.
Not
I
at all.
strongly disagree.
Why? What makes you strongly disagree?
Why have a gun?
Because I think I should not answer that.
Okay.
I-
You wanna take the fifth?
Yes,
Is that the plan? Go
I
ahead,
think,
Della.
like, when you
No,
carry a
sorry.
gun, I'm thinking, like, you're coming to school to get money. Like, you're working just to get money. You're not here to inspire any kids. Like, you're coming here because you fear for your life. You should be coming here eager to teach us. Like, you shouldn't come to no school thinking you're scared. Like,
Like school supposed to be a place that you feel safe at.
Yeah.
Not when you get there, it's like danger. Like you don't know if danger's gonna be there. Just,
Yeah, I have a very strong opinion about that. I think it's like totally insane. The notion of a teacher packing, a gun. It just drives me up a wall, when I even think about the concept. Because here, I read a story earlier, if you heard it, that had to do with teachers who are finding their foster kids who aged out of foster care and are living under bridges, and going out into the community to find those kids, to locate them and try to help them, graduate high school. And that to me is one of the most beautiful things in the world. And the notion of that same teacher coming to school and carrying a gun Just blows me away. So is college in the future for all of you? Are you all college bound?
Yeah.
You are, Nabia?
Yes.
And you're trying for a sports scholarship,
Yes.
right? To college, Amir?
Yes.
Yeah. What college are you going to go to? Because you have a more direct path with
Either
cooking and
a
business.
Culinary school or HBCU. I was looking at
What's HBCU?
Historic Black College.
Okay. And how about you, Naya?
I really like Howard.
You thinking about going to Howard?
Mhm.
That's
It's
HBCU.
university, right? Oh, that's HB.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I know it is Howard. I did not know it is HBC. So, are you all going to take SATs?
Yes.
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 Yeah, that's something everybody's going to do.
Taking it next weekend.
You're taking it next weekend. So,
Actually,
I already took it
anybody?
already.
Did anybody have an SAT prep course?
Yes.
Did you,
No.
Caleb? No. Amir, no.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
two did. Ah, interesting. Because you know what? I always thought an SAT prep course is worth about an extra 50 or 100 points when it comes to the test. That's what I believe the value of an SAT prep course is. So if you guys take it and you don't like your scores, find me and I'll get you into an SAT prep course for you to take them again.
Mhm.
Okay? Because see, I think that's what levels the playing field, right? You guys haven't taken it. You two have, and you're going to be competing in the same number pool, with scores. So I like to think of it as being possibly a level playing field. Now, I met these young people on the Trenton Prevention and Policy Board. And essentially what we were doing is trying to find out what's wrong with the community and what we can do to sort of fix it. So Nabia, let me start with you. What would you like to see different about your community?
Maybe like I'm not really, even though I am from Trenton, but like I'm really not familiar with. I'm trying to figure out how to explain it, but I say more communication with a lot of people, more positive vibes instead of negative.
Mm-hmm. Trenton is so strange because it's so ward-based.
Mm-hmm.
Like people in the East Ward don't seem to like people in the West Ward. It's a whole thing with the wards. And communication might be really helpful. How about you, Caleb? What would you like to see different about your community?
For me, I would like to see more after-school activities for kids, because you out here, you see a lot of kids don't really be having anything to do after school.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that affects kids, because most kids end up turning out being on the streets, and we don't need kids on the streets.
Well, you know what? The police told me that the highest concentration of crime incidents is 4 to 6 p.m.
Mm.
What did you just describe when kids get out of school?
Yeah. School
Right? You'd
activities.
think it would be like between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m.,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's when kids get out of school. How about you, Amir? What would you like to see changed?
I feel as though the environment, and we need more days like National Night Out, because the community come out, they enjoy themselves, and they get along.
And you said something to me that I'm going to recall from about 2 or 3 weeks ago in the Trenton Prevention and Policy Board. You were the only person I ever heard talk about the importance of the park. Do you remember what you said? You said you wanted more rangers.
Oh, maybe they should have park rangers.
Uh-huh. Now, do you live across from the park or something? Like
Yeah.
what? And you spend time there?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I do
But-
YouTube now, so
But it sounded like you wanted it to be a safer haven.
it can be,
Yeah, yeah. How about Naya? What would you like to see different about your community?
The safety of our community. Everybody having a bond. Everybody be having communication. Things like that.
Yeah, everybody just getting along, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, instead of violence, there is a lot of violence. I mean, we have to accept, right, the fact that in the city of Trenton, there really is a lot of violence. So let me ask you: do you ever feel unsafe at times, either in school or outside of school? Let's start with Naya.
No. I never put myself in a position to ever feel unsafe where I'm going or anything like that. So, I was always taught to be civil, act like somebody watching you, my parents was watching me when I'm out. So, it was never I go out acting wild or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
And I don't hang around people that act wild.
Uh-huh.
So, I don't put myself in that predicament at all.
All right, so you're not looking for trouble, right? but it also sounds like it's like you know where trouble is, that it's on your mind to some degree, enough to avoid.
I know better not to go. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know better not to be outside. No, 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, nothing like that. Like,
Okay,
yeah.
so you're aware.
Mhm.
You know, you have to be aware of that. How about you, Amir? Do you ever feel unsafe either in school or out of school?
I would say no, but yeah.
You could be my bodyguard. You're a big tough guy. How about Caleb?
No.
No,
Only-
another big tough guy.
Yeah, only because like the people I hang around with, like I surround myself by positive people, so it's always a positive vibe.
Do you hang mostly with athletes?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
makes it all athletes.
Almost
Well,
all.
not all athletes,
Yeah.
but like majority are athletes.
Yeah.
So it's like we all see eye to eye somehow.
Mm-hmm. Maybe care a little bit about your bodies and
Mhm.
foods you eat and
Mm-hmm.
you know, sort of the things that go along with being a peak performing
Yes.
athlete. How about Navia? What do you ever feel unsafe either in school?
No.
No.
I'm the type of person to stay out of trouble, stay out of drama.
You fly below the radar.
Yes.
Do you? That's a good way to be. So, what's your opinion about law enforcement?
Oh,
What do you?
man.
What do you? Oh, I heard that. What do you? What's your? Was that you, Caleb?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. What? Tell me. What's your opinion?
Cops.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say nothing bad, but nah, cops. They just cops nowadays. Like, I think that they don't care like as much
Huh.
about the kids and the
Yeah.
youth. Like they just more about, hey, I'm here to get paid.
Yeah.
I'm here for my money, and that's it. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's important. I think it's important not to argue with that. You're entitled to the way you feel
Mm-hmm.
about that. And I think when people say, "Oh no, that's not what it is," but that's what it is to you. And that's what we're here to do. You know, is listen to what you have to say. What's your relationship with law enforcement? Do you have one, or are you flying below the radar everywhere?
Well, both, but I agree with what Caleb's saying. I just feel like maybe if they like built a stronger bond with like the youth, then
Mhm.
things would be like different.
Yeah. How about you, Amir?
I mean, I have no bond with cops, but I don't know.
So you have no relationship, but they don't
No.
bother you either way,
Yeah, they don't bother
you
me.
know,
So.
one way or the other. And Naya?
I have no problem with them, but I think we do need to make a bond with them. Like, it need to be communication on both sides as a community and as a police officer, especially for our black males, young black males at that.
Absolutely. So, I mean, what I'm hearing, in generally speaking, is that you are actually all hoping to have like a better, more positive
Mm-hmm.
relationship with law enforcement. Have you ever been involved in anything on the wrong side?
You mean by wrong side?
I mean, have you ever, did you ever do something for which you needed to get in trouble, or did you ever get in trouble and not have done a thing?
I mean, I ain't gonna say I haven't done something. But, like, I remember it was 2 years ago, and I was at football camp. It was a group of us, and it was about, what time was it? I think it was about 11 o'clock at night, and then we walked to the 7-Eleven,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a cop there. And so the cop came in and said that we wasn't supposed to be out past a curfew that I didn't never know. Like, I didn't know we had a curfew.
Yeah.
Like, kids got to be in the house by like 10, I believe. So yeah, we didn't know. So they brought us back to the camp. We got in trouble. Had to run.
So you were on the wrong side of a curfew,
Yes.
and they put you in a squad car
Mm-hmm.
and brought you back to the
Camp.
sports camp you were.
Yeah, we was at Columbus Elementary School
Mhm.
over there by the circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we was over there.
And what kind of trouble did you get in?
Just
Was there a punishment?
we had to run.
They made you run. They
Yeah.
made you do more sports.
Yeah, and there's more exercise, like exercising.
Uh-huh. Anybody else ever have a
Not fun.
little tweak with law enforcement? No? Well, you have an amazing day planned on June 21. Is that correct? Is that the
Yes.
right date?
July
Adam?
21.
July 21. That's my mistake. Okay. So this is July 21. And what day of the week is that? Does anybody know?
That's
Saturday.
Saturday.
yeah,
That is a
Saturday.
Saturday. And what's the time? For this
11 to
event?
3.
11 to 3. Okay. All right. So we have this event, and you're actually calling it a festival,
Yes.
right? And it's called
Embrace you.
Embrace You. And so what does that mean? Where did Embrace You come from? Naya, can you answer that?
I'm actually not going to answer that because Nabia came up with it.
That's Nabia's? Okay.
Yes.
Pass. Pass to Nabia.
So, Embrace You is really all about us coming together and just really, getting involved in the topic that suicide is not really an option. I feel as though, we need to make it aware that, you are not alone. There's always like someone you could talk to about. And I also learned that, there's always something behind a smile. Like, even though a person may put on a smile on the outside, you never know what's going on the inside.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. Did anyone ever been touched by suicide directly or indirectly? You actually have. Yeah. Can you talk about it?
Yes, we had a couple of suicides at my school. I feel like it was a wake-up call for all of us. We lost close friends. I didn't know the people personally, but it still touched my heart to see like my friends who were hurt by that happening, and it just hurt a lot. And I don't like to see my friends that way, and it was really touching.
Yeah.
And it made me like learn about who they were more and stuff.
I mean, without saying who they are, do you know what drove them to suicide? Like what the circumstances were that caused them to feel like there was no way out?
Well, we were left confused. Like we didn't know why. Like, it was just no explanation or nothing. Like we were just really confused and like why would they do that? We had like people may said some things that they might have thought they did, but like we were just at the end of the day we were left confused. Like we don't know why. So like it's a big question mark for them.
Yeah, and a big question mark for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm thinking suicide is just, it's like the last stop. It means there's no other way, right? And it's final. Do people know to call 211 in New Jersey? I don't know if this exists in other places, but in New Jersey, if you're feeling that way, you pick up the phone and you call 211. Do people know about that?
I feel as though they do, but just like some people may not be comfortable to actually talk to somebody because that person may not understand like what they're going through, and might make them feel like uncomfortable about the situation.
Yeah. It's one thing to feel horrible. It's another thing to start unpacking it verbally, right? And actually be able to talk to someone. So what are the goals of this festival? What goals do you have? Anyone?
Well, my goals is like for the festival when people leave, like to be introduced to like mental health and suicide prevention, and then for people that go through stuff on the inside but don't have nobody to talk to, that whereas people here to talk to, and people here that are willing to listen to what you have to say.
Mm-hmm. So are there going to be people at the festival who are professionals in that
Yes.
in that area? Yeah. Do you have how many? Do you have companies lined up right now or organizations?
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
quite a few.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about a festival. We're talking about big space, lots of tables. I'm trying to get a visual here in my head of what this looks like. People walk in the door. You got to have food.
Of course.
Right? Food's the big draw. And then like booths, like a kind of like a trade show sort of thing. Are we going to have like keynote speakers and
Yes.
and stuff like that?
Entertainment.
We gonna have lots. We gonna have singers. We gonna have poets, activities, games for kids.
Okay, so there'll be a lot of reason to stick around.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's gonna be a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
A lot going on.
But at the same time,
Mhm.
you're having fun. I mean, you're having fun, but at the same time, you're also learning.
Mm-hmm.
I would say a main goal would be like for people to recognize people who going through suicide. Like, I mean, not like going through suicide,
But recognize,
The
recognize.
songs.
recognize symptoms.
Yeah, what about recognize symptoms in someone else?
Yes,
know?
I would like people to take away that information and know how to recognize it.
Yeah, that worries the heck out of me when I see a young person age out of foster care and, suddenly become homeless, hit that wall of homelessness,
Yeah.
right? And it gets cold. It happened to be an extra cold. Remember, it snowed a little more than it should have this winter, and I knew some people who were sleeping in their cars, at that point, and all we could do was get them some blankets, in that situation. And I worry. I worry about that. You have a motto? You guys,
Yes.
this is a festival with a motto, ladies and gentlemen. What's your motto?
We are the future. We are going to make a difference.
We are the future, and we're going to make a difference. That's a beautiful thing. Are any of you planning on any kind of a follow-up after this is over? After this festival is over, is there maybe a volunteer stint at a suicide prevention hotline?
Well, at my school, my service teacher, I'm in an honors religion service class, and my teacher goes around talking across the country about this topic. So I wouldn't say I'm going with her, but we still share stuff together.
Yeah.
And Greg, I want to add that that our team is going to be working not just on the 21st, but throughout the month of July on the topic of mental health and mental wellness. So they'll actually be partnering with some of the organizations we've met along the way, as well as with summer camps to bring this message not just to the festival attendees, but to you throughout this city. And then after the festival, the timing was actually really great, because this idea for a suicide prevention mental wellness festival came at a time when the superintendents of Mercer County schools put out a call to action about this issue in the school system. So our hope is that after this festival, we can continue to work with the superintendent of Trenton Public Schools and the public school system to have better infrastructure in the schools for suicide awareness and the trainings necessary so that our high schoolers and middle schoolers can be aware of the signs and know how to react and know how to help.
Yeah. I think school is a great place to follow it up. The other side of me thinks we heap way too much on schools, like the social ills. The social ills of our society get heaped on schools and police. Those are the two places where I was thinking the other day, when a police officer makes a traffic stop because someone is driving erratically, right? And they come up to the side of the car. They could find out that person is off their meds and has, a mental problem. They could find out that person just had a heart attack. They could find out that person has a diabetes issue that caused them to pass out. Or they could find out that they're a criminal with a gun, who wants to shoot. All those things. You're not just a cop at that point. You're like some kind of a social science major, trying to weed through all the possibilities and then make a snap decision. And we do the same thing to our schools. All the things that we fail at in other aspects of society and raising children and stuff like that, we say the schools can handle that. And I'm not saying that you're wrong, because what you are doing is trying to follow up in the only place that you actually can.
It's not the only place, though. And one of the things we're going to be doing this summer is we're going to canvass the entire city of Trenton with literature and information. We're going to go door to door, and we're going to give residents the information that they might not have, because what we know is that mental health is taboo in this city. People don't want to talk about being well mentally. So we're going door to door, and we're handing people that literature, and we're telling them that this is how you can be an advocate for mental health.
Excellent. So when you get all that stuff together, I hope you'll come back after the festival. If you can, if you could do that, and let's do a show on suicide prevention and mental health and all that, and take what you just described and spread that message, out among the listening audience. Can we do that? Will you all come back at that point? I've gone right through the stop, which was 6 minutes ago, because I've enjoyed so much getting to hear your opinions. I do want to relate one story. You've heard of ABC News. Well, when you hear the before ABC, the ABC, What you're actually talking about is the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. And believe it or not, all around the world, not just the United States, but all around the world, they have the same dumb social problems that we have. And this is an Australian Broadcasting Corporation piece entitled The Myths and Fears Stopping Australians from Becoming Foster Parents. In New South Wales, and that's a state in the southeast of Australia that contains Sydney. Sydney is in the state of New South Wales. 660 foster parents are being sought this year to care for children who aren't safe living at home. So why the shortage of foster parents? Well, perhaps it's due to a fear of giving up someone you've grown close to, or concern that we aren't made of the right stuff. Jennifer and Daniel Norris are the parents of one biological son and 3 fostered and recently adopted brothers. Their story, with expert advice from Dr. Wendy Foote, Deputy CEO of the Association of Child Welfare Agencies, sheds light on the 6 misconceptions about what being a foster parent is really like. Myth number 1, foster parents get no support. That's actually half true. There's a lot of support out there, but you got to go get it. You know, you have to go get it. And in a few weeks, we're going to have a foster and adoptive family services parental training program on the program. And they have a ton, you know, of training information for foster parents, but you have to go get it. It doesn't come to you. Myth number 2, I can't foster because I've never had kids. Well, this is just flat out wrong. Dr. Foote said she knows of students, for example, who choose to foster before they were ready to start their own families. And there's a part of foster care that's called respite care. You guys know what respite care is? It's like if you're fostering a child or more than one, after a while you need a break too, right? So that child may go to another family for a week, you know, or during a vacation, and that's called respite care. It gives the foster family a break. And the child just stays with you for a week. And they, I guess, people who graduate college are just sampling what it's like to be a parent, you know, and they can do that and provide a valuable service. So if you've never had kids, it's not a reason. People are worried that they'll grow connected to the child and then have to say goodbye. And this one is complicated because the goal of the foster care system is to return the child to their original home. Now, fostering agencies will conduct early conversations with prospective foster parents about the type of care they would like to give. Like they can give emergency care, they can give respite or short-term or long-term care, and all of these are viable paths. And what people need to do is decide which process would be better for them so that they won't have those feelings of getting connected and then having to say goodbye. And remember, when you work with children, you put the child first and support that child. And that will always pay off for you. Myth number 4, I can't foster because I'm in a same-sex relationship. Absolutely incorrect. And on the same note, single people can also be foster parents. Myth number 5, I won't know how to deal with children's challenging behavior. Yes, it is inevitable that some children's behavior will be difficult. And some children, you know, just need a settling in time and get a predictable routine. Others are reactive and will need people really good at de-escalating situations. As a foster parent, you need to go out and get that training, you know, whatever the right training happens to be. Myth number 6, my biological child and foster child won't feel equal. And that is something that certainly does happen all the time, but is something that you can mitigate by you know, just simply treating them the same. It's really not that hard. So those are the 6 myths about adopting foster children, and as we are in Foster Care Month, I hope people out there will consider hooking up with their local Division of Children and Families and consider fostering a child. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another hour talking about youth who should matter more in our political and economic discourse than they do. We thank you for tuning in and maybe helping to spread the word. Again, we offer humble thanks to Hamilton Radio and to my amazing guests, Adams, the coach, and Naya, Amir, Caleb, and Nadia, for giving us their perspective. Join us again next Thursday, 8 p.m. And until then, let's make this week the best week ever. Good night.